What is going on, Ranger fans? Welcome to another edition of 407 Rangers. It is your host, Raymond Tapia. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and a comment. Turn on your notifications when I'm about to go live, upload highlights or post, things like that. Well, it has officially happened. Artemi Panarin has been traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Now, how do I personally feel about it? Listen, I get that Chris Drury pretty much didn't have his hands on where Artemi Panarin goes, but at the same time, you're telling me you couldn't have gotten a first rounder. No, instead you got stuck with a third conditional and I believe a fourth round 2028 draft pick and then a prospect with Liam Greentree. And that's not even like half of the stuff that's going on. Gavin fucking McKenna just got arrested with four fucking charges. Four with felony aggravated assault, a misdemeanor simple assault, and two summary offenses. Allegedly, he was at a bar and he got into it with someone and he punched the guy so hard like the man broke his jaw. So I will give credit. McKenna doesn't seem soft, like he can handle his own. But at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, man, we just don't know. I don't even know if, oh, what's going on. Insane facts. Yep, this is gonna be interesting. How Panarin plays with the Los Angeles Kings, but the McKenna situation on top of the whole Panarin deal because we don't even know if Gavin McKenna is like going to be charged and convicted, or he's going to lawyer up and he can be into his defense in court like, hey, I was defending myself. They were trying to go after me and my guys because the hockey team was apparently there too at the bar. So it's an absolute hot mess, man. Let's just hope that McKenna walks free and it's almost like a Paul Bissonnette situation where he took on six people and kicked all their ass and no discipline happened. But you know, Chris Drury's still gonna want him. When he sees that, it's gonna be like, well, this guy can fight better than Rempe. But yeah, as far as the Kings, yeah, they absolutely like got a way better deal out of it because, like I said, here's the other thing. The most bullshit thing about all of this, right? There's so much like back and forth going on. I was going back and forth with fucking the Rangers Discord chat. Like everybody was trying to like come at me like, oh well, what was Drury supposed to do? Blah 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 blah. And I was trying to explain to them, look, the Panarin deal is not what I'm worried about. It's his retooling. If he backfires this retool, you guys are gonna come back to this chat and show me that like what I say I wasn't late, but I was damn sure early. Cause this is why you don't buy into the retool letter and what he just did. Now there's people literally out here trying to defend Chris Drury for what he did, but like, oh well, he actually did a good. No, he did not do a good job. You're telling me you couldn't gotten more from a franchise player that's pretty much broken records for the regular season as far as the points per game, right? You're telling me you had a franchise player, you traded him away, and you couldn't get not even one first rounder, not a 2027, 26, or 28 first round pick for a guy like Artemi fucking Panarin? Like, are we kidding? And look, I looked up this Liam Greentree guy. They're trying to tell me I got to give him a chance, but here's my other problem. How are you 20 years old and you're still in the OHL? That's not giving me hope. If you're in your 20s still playing OHL hockey, by then you should be playing AHL hockey. The fact that you're not even seeing ECHL hockey and you're still in that league, it's absurd. Absolutely absurd. So we'll see because apparently he's like a really good point per game player with the OHL. Last season he had like 50 goals or something like that. So I guess I have no choice but to give him a chance. But the other thing is, we don't even know if we're gonna even see him play. You traded Panarin for a guy that is gonna be the ultimate dice roll, and we don't even know if he's gonna be on the top 6 lineup. Like, I get it. Chris Drury's trying to just move on from as many contracts as he could, but at the same time, when you trade a guy like Artemi fucking Panarin, right? Don't you at least expect a body in return for a guy like that? Rather than just a couple draft picks and a young guy, we don't even fully know what we're going to get out of him. It's the ultimate crapshoot. Like, it's absurd. Like, you're telling me you couldn't get Quentin Byfield, Warren Fogle, Brandon Clark, freaking Kuzmenko, Lafayette, like somebody? You could have gotten none of those fucking guys. But you chose a prospect and 2 late round picks. That's Chris Drury in a nutshell. Like, hell, you could have even gotten Kevin Fiala for fucking Artemi Panarin, man. You could have gotten some Adrian Kempe, something. Somebody. Oh, you need a body. It's too little, too late now. Because here's the other thing. As far as the media, now they're saying, like, one side of the media has been misinformed and the other side had the information right all along because apparently, like, people are going back and forth with Molly Walker and the whole New York Post sports crew and things like that. But at the same time, they did not try to, like, act like they had the information all along. I mean, for all we like I said, for all we know, this is like the Spider-Man meme situation where everybody's just pointing fingers at each other. That's what's literally happening as far as the reporters because everybody's trying to seem like Elliot Friedman did not do his homework, yet he happens to be an NHL insider. Like, I don't understand it, but here's my concern, right? If Chris Drury only got a prospect and 2 late round picks out of this Artemi Panarin trade, what in God's name are you going to get for Vinny Trocheck? Because it's gonna worry me if you trade Trocheck and all you got out of it was 3rd and 4th round, late round draft picks. Not even a body. If Chris Drury does not get any good assets out of the Vincent Trocheck trade at the trade deadline, this man has to absolutely go. Absolutely. Because there's no way in hell. If you're James Dolan, you would be absolutely absurd to truly think that what Chris Drury just did saved your franchise. It put a bigger band-aid into your bullet wound. No, it did not. All you did was just take out the band-aid and now the wound's like right back to open. Because we already knew the offense was bad without Panarin. And like I said, guys, just buckle up because now that Panarin is gone and they didn't even gain a body back, oh yes, these games are going to be extremely hard to watch. Like, whoo, it's gonna be real tough for me to watch these games. I'm not even kidding you guys. Because I know for a fact the only person that's gonna bring offense is Mika Zibanejad. Mika Zibanejad has been the only watchable Ranger player throughout this whole entire abysmal of a season. And now that you don't have Artemi Panarin, and all you gained was 2 picks and a young guy that we don't even know if he's going to be able to even get any ice time in Hartford because he's an OHL player. That like, listen, guys, I'm not happy with this trade. I'm just not. And I get it. We had no choice. This was all Drury had on the table. But like I said, guys, if that was the case, you should have waited till March. If that was the case, all you had to do is wait till March, and you would have been able to get a lot more offers because teams would have been more desperate trying to get their final piece to get that playoff push and things like that. Now, here's the other interesting thing. For the Kings, now that they the Rangers those conditional picks, right? Apparently, if they go past the first round, they end up like losing in the second round to whoever. that's when the third round pick turns into a second round. Now, if they get eliminated in the first round in the postseason, guess what happens? That draft pick becomes a fourth fucking rounder. So now you got to pray that the LA Kings get past the first round and then don't get past the second round. And we already know how the Kings are. They if they got to face the Edmonton Oilers for the third or I believe fourth time in a row in the postseason, you guys know they never beat the Oilers. Never. They don't ever beat the Oilers. So now you got to pray that this team ends up facing another team rather than the Edmonton Oilers in the first round because that's your only hope that they even get to the second round. And as far as like the Kings, yes, they did get a little better, but they're still old. They're still an old team. The offense definitely improved dramatically adding Artemi Panarin because that's literally what the Los Angeles Kings needed. They needed an offensive boost, and Artemi Panarin is exactly the guy you need if you want to get your offense a little better for your hockey team. So the Kings, we'll see if they do turn it around, but it wouldn't surprise me if they start playing a lot better offensively as well because that's exactly why they got Artemi Panarin. So it seems like we've been lied to the whole time, saying like Tampa was a destination, Washington, Detroit, Colorado, and San Jose or Dallas, because it seems like apparently LA was the only destination Artemi Panarin wanted to go. And if that's the case, it seems like he does not want to win. Because you're telling me you had 15 different teams that wanted you and would have gave you the extension, but you chose LA of all teams, a team that you don't even know if they're a Stanley Cup contender with the roster they got constructed. Like I said, man, it's still very iffy because if he wanted 50 million, why did you take 28? There was apparently teams offering like 11 by 4, the AAV or some shit like that, like way more than the 28. But for some odd reason, he took that 28 mil. So I'm going to try to get more details into exactly why it was only the speculation of LA, nothing else, and what other teams didn't have to offer Artemi Panarin, because I'm not buying it for one bit that other teams did not have way more salary retention offers or even more of a better offer for the breadman. I'm just not buying it because you're telling me no other NHL team couldn't give Drury a lot more than than 2 late round picks and a young guy. When if you're trying to retool, isn't the purpose of retooling like you're getting a body right now? Because it seems like you're gonna get these prospects like you're rebuilding. Like which one is it, Chris Drury? Are you retooling or are you rebuilding? Oh, and get ready, because he is actually gonna be having a yes, Chris Drury for once in his life will be approaching the media, and he will be having a press conference tonight, breaking down the whole trade and probably going to let people know more moves are going to happen, things of that nature. Because, of course, Drury's a big mouth. It's no surprise. But I'm going to see what happens with what exactly Chris Drury says in this press conference. But like I said, guys, even if Greentree turns into a good player, let me ask y'all this. Do you have any faith in Chris Drury turning Liam Greentree into an NHLer? I'm just asking, like, do you have any faith in this guy sending him down to Hartford, then all of a sudden he plays out of the fucking walls and now he's all of a sudden a Ranger? Because there's no way he's going to be an OHLer and then immediately goes into the Rangers. I mean, hell, I'd be surprised if he even goes, because if he's still in the OHL, like, there's a chance that Drury's going to send him right out to freaking Bloomington and go play with the Bison. That's the ECHL team for the Rangers. Like, that's where I'm at with Greentree. And I'm not knocking him or anything. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He has good stats. But the thing is, I still question if why are you 20 years old still in the OHL? If you're 20 years old by that age, you should have been playing for the ECHL team, or you should have been an AHLer by now. By that age, like realistically, like it's crazy because we all know the CHL and the OHL. It's all like full of teenagers and things like that. That's all a lot of like young up and coming like prospects that are either going to get drafted by the NHL if they're really good enough, or they're going to end up like still getting drafted or playing for a D1 college right after and things like that. So I know the potential's there, and I'll give him time. But like I said, I don't trust Chris Drury and his staff, and that's why Hartford is such a like wolf shit developmental freaking system right now because it's Chris Drury's entourage running the show. And until James Dolan sucks it up and say, "Hey, your friends gotta go. They're making my young guys real bad, and I'm gonna have no good future with this team if you keep this up." No, instead Dolan is still like, "I'm gonna be patient. I know you guys hate hearing this, but I believe Drury's a winner." Like I'm sure Dolan thinks like Chris Drury won the trade. That it would not surprise me because like the fact that he still believes this team is still like in a window to compete for a Stanley Cup, it's beyond laughable because let me tell you, this team is about to be 30 steps back. And isn't it ironic that the Rangers are the only team in the NHL that aren't ahead of schedule? I mean, even the fucking Canucks of all teams, they're practically going to be ahead of schedule. The Sharks, even the Blackhawks, like guys, this team is just teams go 20 steps forward, this team takes 50 steps fucking back. That's what they do best. They're still living with that tradition that we're gonna bring in good big names no matter what, all this bullshit, and just fill up the roster with a couple of young guys, rather than just tearing it all down and just having a good farming system where you can actually bring in guys that come from Hartford and they turn out to be NHLers. I mean, that's what Tampa does. That's what a lot of other teams do, man. That's why, like I said, it's gonna take a while for you to have faith with this team. A while, but we'll see what happens. Cause I am gonna actually watch the press conference soon. I gotta keep track of what time exactly the press conference starts. But yeah, look, even the insiders are already saying Rangers' lack of leverage hurts return. See? Guys, I'm not the only one that feels like the Rangers got fleeced on this deal. Because they did. They truly did. You should have gotten a first round pick out of Artemi Panarin, man. Like, what are we doing here? And of course, like I said, there's going to be people here tonight and today that are going to defend Drury and saying he had no choice. He did what he could. Well, you're not a good GM then if you let somebody be in control of their destination and then you literally like knowing he's a franchise player, you gain no assets out of it. Just draft picks and a body that we don't even know what he's gonna be. So, yep, like I said, guys, Artemi Panarin was a fun guy. I'll probably do a live either later to tomorrow or tonight about it. We'll do like a whole dedication for Artemi Panarin. Talk about what he's done, his accomplishments as a New York Ranger and things like that. Cause it's only fair that we do a whole thank you video. Because despite him being bad a couple of times in the playoffs, he's still a really good regular season player. He's still gonna give you as much points as you want out of him in the regular season. And like I said, he wasn't just all the way bad in the playoffs. He had his moments a couple of times in certain postseason eras, but it was time to move on, unfortunately. But I just don't trust Chris Drury with the whole retool 2.0 because you guys know he's going to try to do what he did in the 2020s where the rebuild was happening, but then when they landed Panarin, it was like the rebuilding was moving way more faster than they expected. So instead of them rebuilding, they're like, we got this hot run going on now. Let's put them in the win now. But we'll see what happens because now that the roster freeze is done and the Olympics are going to be on the way next week, we have to wait till March. So Trocheck will not be moved until pretty much March before the deadline even happens. So Rangers can't do anything now till March. That was the last move, and that's all she wrote for now. So we'll see what Chris Drury's gonna do. But now that I know you traded away one of your best franchise free agent signings for a bag of chips, basically, what are you gonna gain back from Trocheck? That's what I want to know now. If you couldn't even get a first rounder from the breadman, how do we expect you to get a first rounder from Trocheck? And Panarin scored way more goals, did way more assists than Trocheck, and you still didn't get a first rounder. So, like I said, guys, I'm very iffy about the whole next deal he's gonna do because if Chris Drury's just gonna keep getting these late rounders and third line, fourth line, fifth pair, fourth pair defenders and guys that aren't even a full blown NHL player yet. This this is just not gonna go anywhere. And at the same time, if it does not go nowhere, this might, like I said, this might be what gets Chris Drury finally fired. So he already fleeced on this breadman trade. Now you got the Vinny Trocheck trade on your hands, and if you fleece that, and then your retool 2.0 doesn't even last a whole season, James Dolan himself, which is absolute, like I said, guys, I'm gonna say it numerous of times. This man will not care more than he already doesn't about his hockey team. If Chris Drury backfires on his retooling and everything he did as far as trying to move out of the contracts and things like that just completely backfires. Like that's and like I said, if you're Dolan, you better pray he does not make you look any worse than it already is, because at that point you would be an absolute idiot to sit there and say that this is still going to be a winning culture and you feel like not cleaning house isn't the option. Because if I owned the New York Rangers and I know that this team was that bad, shit. Oh man, everybody would be gone. The janitors, the guys that sell the popcorn, everybody that's involved with the Madison Square Garden would have been gone. Gone. 100%. But James Dolan don't care. He's making money. Ticket sales are already increasing. That's the most criminal thing to me. The fact that Dolan charges you fans all this money and they still give you guys a crappy product when they play at home. You'll spend $40 on a bucket of popcorn, damn near $1,000 just to sit near the rink, eat some prime rib, and go to those nice little fancy restaurants they got in there just to watch this team lose. And now that Panarin's gone, oh, get ready, cause who's gonna be their passer? Who's gonna be their passer now? Because that's exactly what Breadman was. He was a really good puck distributor. So now you don't have that. Now you're gonna have to look for the offense elsewhere. Because who's gonna give you that? Who's gonna give you 90 points per game every season now that you got Breadman gone? Who's gonna do it? Because I don't know if I don't see anybody in this lineup that'll give you that kind of production. I just don't. Hey, what, you expect Matt Rempe to be the next Breadman? But listen, it's gonna take a while. before things get actually better for this team, ladies and gentlemen. It truly is. Because, like I said, the fact that this man couldn't gain a lot more out of a franchise player already tells me a lot. And it already shows me, like, more than ever that Chris Drury is just a shitty GM. Just a shitty GM. So that's all it comes down to, the bottom line. So I will keep you guys updated. I really do appreciate y'all hopping on the chat, especially you as well, Insane Facts. Thank you for always hopping on, man. You truly are a great supporter, man, because, man, I truly don't know how I keep doing this stuff. Like, this type of stuff that the New York Rangers keep giving us and bringing us, it's like, it's sad. Like, remember when this team used to be fun to watch and talk about? Like 2 years. Who would have thought 2 years ago would have been the last time we would have had that kind of energy and spirit and environment around us for this team? Because now this team is just you have to like hire a therapist and then some just to even watch these games and the way this team runs the front office. Because like it's just not gonna make any sense. It's just not, man. And I have no hopes of things getting better until Chris Drury's entourage is completely gone. Like, I'm being so 100. I'd rather wait till I hear the words Chris Drury's fired and everybody that is associated and affiliated with him is fired. Because that's where I'm at. That is exactly where I'm at with Chris Drury. And I hate being that guy. I feel like a Debbie Downer and being like, oh, why are you talking bad about Drury? He did his best. No, man, the guy fleeced. The guy fleeced. He's a liar. And now people bought into his bullshit. They're going to be like, yay, Chris Drury, we forgive you. We forgive you for what you did. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. It's an absolute joke. But it is what it is, guys. This is what we're stuck with. And now, for the next couple of seasons, just get ready. Because we damn sure ain't getting what we got in these early 2020s. Absolutely not. And how about Jacob Trouba? Like, even though what he said was some bullshit, he also had a valid point as well with how, like, the front office ran things. But, man, isn't it ironic that when teams move on from this team, they tend to do better? Carson Sousa is a prime example. Goes across the street and fucking ends up scoring a goal for the Isles. Like, it's just, it's sad, man. It's sad. But I will keep you guys updated on the next game. The game is tomorrow against the Hurricanes. If I hear about anything else with the front office and the whole Panarin deal and things like that, I will definitely keep you guys updated. I just wanted to go live really quick and give you guys an update that Panarin has officially went to the LA Kings. But it's just the breadman is just like icing on the cake, man. I'm still trying to wrap my head around as to why Gavin McKenna went to jail. Like, Rangers can't have nothing. You get fleeced on Breadman's trade, and now one of your top prospects you're trying to draft is in jail. And we don't even know if he's going to either have all the charges dropped or if he's going to be charged and he's going to be a convicted fucking felon. Like, this is an absolute hot mess. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. I will finally get the highlights on the way. I know you guys have been dying and waiting. I will finally get to it because they finally verified my whole, like, face and profile. So they got me back to where I can, like, upload the highlights. Because it was so weird. Like, you know how YouTube is in NHL. Like, they're always gatekeeping clips and things like that. And ever since, like, the new updates and policies with the YouTube channels and things like that, it's kind of a little tougher for me to just upload, like, highlights easily like I used to. I mean, now I can only upload shorts because if I do, like, try to upload any clips while I'm talking on the live, they immediately gonna, like, take it down and block it and say, oh, you did a whole copyright infraction. And You don't want to always get hit with the copyrights because the minute you get hit with a lot of copyright strikes, that's when they like try to ban the channel and they're gonna like monetize you and make sure you don't get any like chance to like start like growing the channel, making something out of it and things like that. So believe me guys, if Batman wasn't so anal about it, like cause the NBA and Major League Baseball and NFL, they've already gotten to the point where they don't give a damn who uses their clips because they know it's going to bring them in a lot more of an audience and it's going to give them a lot more bigger exposure, and that person can be marketable and actually market the fucking league. So that's, I will give credit to the NBA and NFL like and Major League Baseball. They finally came to the conclusion where they don't got to gatekeep highlights or make people feel like they have no access or anything to their product. They embraced it. They embraced the streamers and the content creators and the channels to where they're using highlights, talking about the players and things like that. Like we're in an all-time era where if you know your shit and you know your team real well, you can easily do a channel. Easily, as long as you know what you're talking about, you bring in an audience, you attract them, and you say the right things. Anything's possible, man. Anything. Like right now, I should be realistically doing basketball content because I once played semi-pro basketball, encountered all kind of former NBA players, played with guys that once played in the NBA, and things like that. So even G League players, like I should be realistically doing a whole entire basketball content channel where I can either break down the New York Knicks or like all the situations going on in the NBA because I know a lot about basketball. But I chose this passion with the hockey team instead. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna ever not consider doing a basketball channel or any other channel because I'm still trying to think if I should do the Yankees channel and things like that. So once I let this channel grow, that's when I'll probably like, start thinking about expanding and doing other channels because I wouldn't mind doing that as well. I wouldn't mind having like a 407 Yankees and like a 718 Knicks channel or something like that. So I definitely want to do that because I got no problem talking about sports and teams and anything else. Like I got no problem with doing that all day long. But as long as I'm giving you guys the good content and it's actually worth watching and listening to, that's all that matters for me. I always want to make sure that the content I'm putting out is worth it for you guys. Not just me rambling on the mic and be like, hey, I hate my team, and you're going to hate my team with me. Let's talk about it. Like, no, you got to at least make these channels somewhat, interesting for people to be like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows his shit. So I'll probably, click to subscribe and listen to what he got to say. Cause everybody in this YouTube stuff has interesting channels. You got guys that do like wrestling reviews, video game reviews, like the most random shit, and they gain a huge audience from it. So, like I said, guys, this is the era where now than ever you can definitely be like behind this camera and just talk about whatever, as long as it's entertaining and it's actually like a topic people want to talk about. That's the biggest thing as well. So as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. I know I've been saying like I'm gonna wrap things up, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the 2 cents with the Panarin stuff and pretty much what went down, how the deal happened. Now it's gonna be interesting what he does in the press conference because I am definitely gonna stroll through all the articles and sources of where they were talking about the whole Panarin situation and figure out who was in the wrong here. Because now I got to figure out who was misinformed, who was informed, who put out the information, who was giving out the wrong information. Because that's where I'm at with this whole situation. So, as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. If I hear or see about anything more about this team, I will definitely go live later on tonight and we're going to talk about it. But I will most likely do a live right right after the press conference from Chris Drury himself, and then we'll talk about it from there because I definitely want to hear and see what the hell he has to say about all this. I really do. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a wonderful night. And let's go Rangers. And stay tuned. The highlights will be on the way shortly. And I'll